soon as they come out, they fry.
Am I supposed to know anything? It would be. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. The last meeting, I literally forgot to take my hat off during Pledge of Allegiance.
Hey, how are you? I like my taste.
Howard?
Thank you, because I was like, oh my gosh, about halfway through the meeting, I went,
It's good.
so I'm okay if I don't take it off today.
You're okay.
I'm so excited to be here. Down there, on the other end.
Going.
Hi.
How are you? Where's my sign? Okay, I'm gonna try and throw this left-handed. Let's see if you can catch it.
That was not a you problem.
I did.
Bad to eat here,
Why?
because then you start drooling.
Oh, here, I'll
Let's
pass
try
out. Here.
I was trying to talk to Jared.
Did you get it? Oh, hey. Good hands. I am a horrible thrower with left. Whack. I did.
Okay.
Hi, too. Wow.
Do you want me to throw it in? I'm really having a good time. Look, I have all this.
I made it.
You did. Were you getting off the exit about? Who drives this Riverdale Suburban?
That's Waldo.
Oh,
He's back on the road.
gotcha. All right, I think I'm organized. All right, everybody, it is 6:30. We're going to call this city council meeting to order today, the 17th of July. First item is Pledge of Allegiance. I'll take care of that because Councilman Jenkins is not here tonight. And prayer moment of silence, Councilwoman Wilson. Everybody please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, for you that know me, no, I really don't pray well. And I really am not very quiet. So we're going to do a little thought for the day. I actually have two. One is Believe You Can and You're Halfway There. That's by Theodore Roosevelt. And the other one is Once you replace negative thoughts with positive ones, you will start having positive results. And that is from Willie Nelson.
Thank you. All right, first off, excuse Councilman Jenkins, he's out of town and doesn't have cell service, so he can't Zoom in tonight. First item is approval of the minutes from June 19th and amend the meeting minutes from May 23rd on that work meeting. I'll take a motion when somebody's ready.
I'll motion that we approve the minutes from June 19th, 2025 and May 23rd, 2025. Is that amended, Diane? The amended minutes from May 23rd, 2025?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You? All right. 4 ayes, I believe. All right, I did forget, well, I'll say that for later, but I'm going first at reports. Public comments. Anybody here wish to address the council? Is there anyone in Zoom land that wishes to address the council? No? All right. Planning Commission report. Mr. Ma.
Good afternoon, good evening.
Hi, Jared.
How is everybody doing today?
Splendid.
Good to see your smiling faces. And I'll just summarize what we talked about on our last planning commission, which was on July 10th. There were 2 things we talked about. The first thing on the legislative side was to redo some of our cul-de-sac our cul-de-sac requirements for a zoning, and we're working on that. We've got that pretty much done. You will see that on the next city council. And this is just to define what exactly constitutes a straight length on a cul-de-sac and where you take those measurements. And there was a little contradiction in our ordinance about where on the cul-de-sac exactly you took it. On one part of the ordinance, it did say it was the center of the cul-de-sac. On the other one, it said it's where the curve actually starts. And so we're working on those revisions, and you'll see those during next city council, I believe. Well, no, because our next planning commission is council. So it'll be the one after that, actually. So the second thing we talked about was a proposed shooting range out near our landfill, and we had a presentation from the individuals that are the party that's doing that, and a discussion. And that's going to take some doing, just ordinance-wise. The way we figured it as a commission is that you would have to amend the general plan, because none of our current uses on the general plan fit a shooting range. So that would have to be amended to be a commercial zone, and then we would have to come in and do a rezone on that area, and then it would be a site plan revision. So that's almost a 4-month period that will take to get that to work.
So I was thinking about this the other day, Jared. I got a phone call from a planning commission member, and could we not make that an approved usage
That's part
in
of
ag?
That's part of what we could do. A lot of similar usages. The only 2 that we could find on our commercial use list is archery range and a shooting gallery. And we don't have anything, they don't relate, do they? And so that's what we're trying to do is we were thinking we could put that in as a conditional use.
Yeah, make it a conditional use in A1 or A2.
It just takes some doing to get it to work because there are no commercial zones out there right now.
Would it have to be in a commercial zone if it's a conditional use?
It does, because that's a commercial zone conditional use, according to our zone, at least the way I understand it. So that's why it takes the re-amending the general plan, then the rezone, then the site plan. So I know it's it's quite a process, but that's the best way we could figure out how to work it, and we communicated that to them. We're still discussing it as a commission, how exactly that's going to work out too. So, all right. Any questions?
No.
Okay, good. Do I need to mention I know there was some mention about you guys wanted to work out a way to better.
I just told him that we've got to figure out a way so that you guys are appraised of what's coming from the.
Right.
So we're just trying to work that out.
I mean, if you guys need like a site plan or something, or a sketch that they've shown us, in your packet, or if you want us up here, I could, cast it on there. I don't know about other commissioners, so I'm only speaking for myself, but, we can make that happen.
Like, it wasn't necessarily an an agenda item that you needed to have.
Right.
But it had to be something from the planning commission so that you knew what was coming, whether the report from the planning commission was a little bit longer. And gives you more detail than normal, if that would work.
Anyway,
Yeah.
okay, that's the way it went. Any questions from you guys?
Nope.
Awesome. Okay, guys.
Okay, thanks, Jared. Appreciate it.
You bet.
All right, we're going to stop for just a second and recognize Buddy Sadler for, I guess, he's getting the envelope too, I don't know. So, Buddy Sadler, he served on the Planning Commission from 2002 to 2015. Then he ran for city council, and he was a council member from 2016 to 23. Quick math, that's 23 years of service, 22 years, right? 22 years of service to Plain City in one form or fashion. And I can't tell Buddy how much I appreciated him, and when I first came on as mayor, how much I leaned on him, his knowledge of the codes and stuff like that he had picked up through his years on Planning Commission. Buddy was a good rock for me and good educator. So, Buddy, appreciate the 22 years of faithful service and great service. And I'm going to come shake your hand and get a picture with you.
Thanks again.
Don't forget that.
Oh, yeah. Now he's retired and just traveling the world. Good for him, huh? All right, so we got the report done. We have a presentation from New Hope, suicide prevention. Come on up.
Hello, good evening. Nice to be here and appreciate your patience with me in coming and presenting what we can help you with and what our purpose is, and then ask for volunteers. My name is Doug Myler. My better half couldn't be here, so you get me, sorry. New Hope, our purpose is to help support the community and get the resources out to everyone when we struggle with this issue a lot. As you can tell, as Utah has the 6th highest suicide rate of any state of the nation. So we bring out the resources, we can table events, like, do you have Plain City Days? I don't even know. 4th of July, okay, well, guess we're over, but we can do it next year. We can come out and do training to business establishments, churches, city council, planning, whatever you want us to do, and just make you aware of the issues and what we're up against. Who is New Hope? So New Hope stands for Northern Utah Hope, and it's based out of Weber State. It's funded by IHC, and we have representatives from all over. So we have Weber Human Services, we have the Weber Morgan Health Department, we have Ogden Pride, we have the Ogden Police Department, but we service all of Weber County, Morgan, and part of northern Davis. How this is done is there's certain training that we all need to help kind of understand what's going on in someone's mind, how to ask the questions, and how to refer them, to gently persuade them to where they need to go. So we offer our services to you. So you have my information. I'll probably give you our director's information as I leave, if that's okay. So with all of this, we have the ones that are paid, like Weber Human Services and whatever, but there's volunteers like me. and it just doesn't run itself. One of our biggest events, if you've heard of it, is the walk that we have the third week of September. There's about 3,000 attend at the amphitheater there in Ogden. And that's to remember loved ones we've lost. Anyone here hasn't been touched by this, you can let me know. I'd like to know about that, but we all have. And we struggle with it, and that's a way to let out, get the resources, remember our loved ones, and celebrate their lives. But my point is that with the volunteers, it's a big commitment, but it's really important. We meet every month for a planning meeting, except July and December. And then for that walk, that's a big thing that we do. So we would really like at least a volunteer from the good city of Plain City to have your perspective, because we need everyone. I'm from Roy. We have a new volunteer from Riverdale, and we've lost a couple. We're not in dire straits, but I'm still asking for volunteers because it really would help us. So I'll leave my information with Diana. Are there any questions from the council?
Yeah, what kind of volunteer help are you looking for?
So whatever is needed. So these tabling events, they have to be staffed. We did staff the Ogden Car Show downtown. Never seen so many people in my life. And they had a great idea because they want us to have an activity. So we did it for the children while the parents were talking about, this serious event. We had an obstacle course. So it's not like we were making light of it, but it just kind of lightened the mood because it is a pretty serious, issue. And it worked out fabulous. So we do tabling events for that walk. I do T-shirts from Weaver State to downtown in my truck and just get things where they need to be, set up, take down. I go on Ogden Pride Day in the afternoon. I have commitments in the morning of Sunday.
Okay.
But I go in the afternoon and help them with there's always something going on. So things like that.
Great.
What ages can volunteer?
Yes,
Yeah, how young, like what ages? I've got a 17-year-old son, so how old does a volunteer have to be?
That's a good question. Let me ask our director and I'll get back with Diana on that. That's a very good question.
Okay.
Well, I think we can definitely throw this on our website so that people can see it and access your contact information and
Awesome.
yeah, help you try to get some volunteers, and we could throw it on our Facebook page and try to get the word out that you're looking for some volunteers. Okay?
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you for coming and presenting to us. Appreciate it. All right, next item is another presentation by Cole West, and it's for the Jackson property out north.
Good evening. Thank you so much for letting us come to this meeting and just share a little bit about this property and about who we are. I am not here to really show a map or kind of get in the weeds on anything on the project. Mainly, I'm just here to introduce ourselves, kind of our broad vision for the project, and then really just listen to you and solicit some feedback on this piece of property. I know the Jackson family has been into different planning commission and city council meetings, and so there's already been some thought on the project already. And me being just kind of getting caught up to speed, I'd love to hear those thoughts from you. So a little bit about Cole West. We are a real estate development firm. We're based out of Centerville, Utah. We are Utah born and bred. Our founder's father is a prominent developer named Gary Wright, who was one of the founders of Ivory Homes. So real estate is in our DNA, and especially Utah real estate. We're not an out-of-state developer. We live here in the communities, and we understand what makes Utah special. That said, we have several different business lines at Cole West. You might have seen some of our homes for sale. We have quite a large home building operation. I am not a home builder. I'm kind of in a different business line called master planning. So we go into communities and try to thoughtfully prepare a community that incorporates several different builders. Cole West might be a builder here, but ideally we would have 3 to 5 different builders and that we think creates a better community where there's different styles and different types of homes. It's not just one type stamped out all across the community. We've done 250 projects. We've done 10,000 homes or lots. We have a lot of good experience. I'm just going to flip through this quickly to kind of give you a flavor of some of the things that we've done. Copper Rim is one of the projects that we're actively building right now in West Jordan. There's 731 units there. There's 5 different home builders, and it's turned out to be a really good project for us. Rome, it's another project here in northern Utah. It's in Mountain Green. There's 277 homes there. Frequently get complimented for this project. We're very proud of it. It turned out really well. Rose, here's another project in Farmington. In any of these projects you'd like to tour, kind of become acquainted with, happy to set up visits if that's something you'd be interested in. Brio is another project of ours in Washington, Utah. Same type of concept. It's a master plan community, so multiple builders in there, and that creates a really good product. Coral Canyon is another product in southern Utah. And just kind of speaking a little bit about the Jackson property, we haven't gotten too far into design. Again, we really want to solicit your feedback before we go down the road. 3 things that we would love to focus on and kind of have as overarching principles is connecting with the local character and heritage. Plain City has a great culture, and we want to continue to support that through the project and not deter from it. It's also located right next to Willard Bay, and there's a lot of really cool environmental features. And so we want to create a community that connects with the environment and enhances that. And then our 3rd principle is we want to create a community that's for all generations. Similar to what I said earlier, we want different housing types there. Maybe large single-family homes, smaller single-family homes that are more affordable. We want different generations, depending on where they're at in life, to feel comfortable in this community and have something that they could purchase. And with that, I'm here to listen. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
I think it sounds like they listened when we said that we wanted different styles and. What do you think?
I don't know, we'll see when we see a plan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to get into the weeds if we're not getting into the weeds, right? I think the fact that you're trying to blend it with what's here, obviously, that's important. At least my thoughts on that. But other than that, there's not a whole lot to talk about because we don't have a master plan or anything, right? So, what are you seeing? I know this development's probably 10, 20-year build, I'm assuming, maybe longer. With the current environment, what is it looking like? As far as supply and demand, what people are looking for, that type of thing, what is your company finding out?
Yeah, this is definitely a long-term project. It's probably going to be a 20-year project for us. A lot of this is driven based off of UDOT's plans as well. Having that road come through this property is really important. And so we intend to start developing portions of it, but really a lot of this will kind of be released once that UDOT road comes through. I believe you asked kind of about the current market conditions. Frankly, Utahns need something that's affordable. And so we're trying to get innovative in different ways, how that takes shape. A lot of it is kind of smaller lot things, not huge lots that require a lot of upkeep and are expensive to purchase and to maintain. Twin homes and townhomes are very popular right now. And obviously we would create a mix of product types here. It wouldn't just be those, but those are selling and those are really popular right now for people.
So the time frame, I know you're talking, I can't remember what they call it up here now, I always forget, Legacy in Davis County. The time frame on that for UDOT, I don't even know where that's at. We're probably 10 to 20 years out just to get that up here, if not longer, right? So is that are you saying that that's gonna be the trigger, or are you gonna wanna have a trigger before that, obviously, since you're meeting with us today?
Yeah, we will start development on the project. I think I was saying that more just to say it's a long-term project and really will be enhanced by that road. There are certain phases that won't be unlocked until that comes through. But we do intend to develop portions of it today.
Well, and I think as a city, we'd be foolish not to capitalize on that property around the corridor.
Yep.
And we need to make sure we're thinking about that as we move forward with this. Other than that, like I said earlier, without getting into too much of the weeds, those are the main things. The biggest thing is gonna be the highway, and then blending with the current environment here in Plain City. And I understand where the market's at. I just wanted to hear where your take was, right? And have everybody else understand that as we start looking into this.
One thing I will add about the UDOT road is it is moving up on their plans. It was on the 20-year plan, and I believe right now it's on the 10-year. And in our conversations with them, they're saying it's between 5 to 10 years is when they'll punch it through.
I recently saw homes being built up in our area, and they were being marketed as affordable $400,000 starter homes. What's your idea of affordable?
That's a good question. It's hard to peg a price point. There's a lot of different factors on it. I can say on another project I'm working on in Tooele County, we're targeting homes in the 350 to 380 range, and quite frankly, that is below what we're seeing in most places. It is a unique time in housing for sure. Everything is very expensive.
I guess the only thing I'll really say is, keep in mind what Plain City, the heritage is out here, right? Plain City's always been a place that's drawn people, hardworking, want to take care of a yard. Those people that, take that pride in their own doings, and it's built an awesome community out here, having those hardworking people, and so I want to keep that, as tight as possible in this community.
Yeah.
That it's very important to me, so.
But they're also wanting their children and grandchildren to be able to live here too. So we need homes that they can afford.
Okay.
What about horse property? Is that still on the books of actually having some out that way?
Yeah, we're still pretty early in the master plan phase, but we have looked at how do we get larger lots that could accommodate for that. That's definitely a priority. I've heard that from several different people.
I bet.
Isn't that area a lot marshland, wetland? Has the environmental study been done, or is it still in the works?
Yeah, we have completed a wetland study here. There are a couple of key findings. A lot of the marshy lands are kind of created due to, quite frankly, just bodies of water that need to be maintained more properly. We think as we do that, a lot of the kind of marshy areas will dry up. I think also it's worth noting that there are certain areas of this property that will need to be brought up, and because it is kind of a long-term project for us, we think that's a process that will take several years, is to bring infill from other areas and elevate portions of the property that needs to be brought up. And there will be property that just remains wetlands out here. We know that, and we're going to protect it.
How much of that highway are you counting on for your traffic? Because that's the other concern that we need to worry about, is that's a lot of houses out west where we don't have a lot of roads, right? And I get when the highway comes through, that's gonna alleviate a lot of the pressure going up to I-15, so you won't need your east and west as bad, right? But that's just something I wanna make sure that you're aware of. I'm sure you are, but everybody's concerned about that too as we start developing out west, so. And if we don't have the highway, we really need to do something, so.
Yep. I would say, as we work on an agreement, a development agreement for this property, addressing those infrastructure concerns is top priority for us. It's not, I mean, transportation is definitely a large part of it, but it's also public works, utilities. There's a lot that goes into it, and we'll reference that in the development agreement.
Do you know how much of the property is under the FEMA floodplain map?
We have done that study. I don't have it off the top of my head.
Because that will be a very large concern, and we do have an ordinance in the floodplain,
Yep,
so.
understood.
Okay, any other comments? All right,
Okay, we'll
Thank
keep
you.
working on it and come back with more details. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thanks.
appreciate the introduction, thank you.
Just when you are looking at amenities, I'm really big on all ability parks.
Okay,
Just back of the mind.
thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, next item is a discussion motion with David Pitcher, purchase of property for a park. Come on up.
I'm not exactly sure where to start. It was more of a, how does the city want to go about purchasing that property? That,
Do you want me to lead off a little bit?
yeah, go ahead.
Give a little history?
Yeah.
So these gentlemen are looking at the property on 5100 West, Winneweiniger property. They came to me with a plan of using the overlay, residential overlay, where we have green space, if you look at the future land use map, around the sewer plant and the landfill, to give us a buffer, so we don't have residents right up against the landfill or right up against the sewer plant. With the future land, or the residential overlay, that would allow them to donate that property to the city, in return get a little higher density. I think it's zoned R15, is that right?
18.5
Or
lots.
is it the 18.5? And I think if we went with the overlay, it would bring that down to, what was it, quarter acre lots approximately?
To get the full, I guess, bonus, you know, the third that it gives, they would have been even a lot smaller than that. That just wouldn't have fit with what you guys wanted and what the public wanted. And we even came back to I forget the name of the meeting. What was that meeting that we had with? TRC. The TRC meeting, thank you. And even at that, with when we went to 10,000 square foot lot, is what it comes down to, is donating the land at a cost of over $1 million, plus the amenities you guys wanted. It would have gotten those lots so small that it was a no-go, I think, for both of us. Does that make sense?
So with this green space on the future land use map, the city has a couple options, right? One, we approve the overlay, the ground's deeded to us, and we can do with it what we like. Or he sticks to the 18.5 zoning, and the city has to buy that property. Or we allow him to build on it, whatever, which, with the master plan the way it is, I think it's the city's responsibility to our residents to keep that buffer. I can't remember the acreage or what that line actually comes out to, but that's kind of the situation that we're in. This is the first time we've kind of come across this, and so we're kind of in a little conundrum here on which way to go. That's kind of the history, right? A little
Yeah,
bit,
that's
and kind of our position of where we're at.
Yep. We either gotta be able to use it, the city has to buy it, and I really don't think the overlay is gonna work mathematically for us or with the size lots that you guys have envisioned out there. It's just, they're gonna be under 10,000 square feet, which is a lot smaller than what you want, and I know it's a lot smaller than the public would.
Yeah,
They'd be up in arms, and I get that.
yeah. So I guess one thing we would need to determine would be, you know, how big is that buffer? There isn't a scale on the map to say that it's 100 feet or 200, or where we draw that line. There's kind of some guidelines that we've got in there. If you look at the future land use map, following some property lines that we could stick close to, but I think that would be, first thing to do would be determine that line.
Yeah, and it's a lot of zoning line, and you're not the only city, but I don't want to use the word arbitrary, but, you know, I'll have a piece of property that might have the front 100 feet is zoned one thing, the back is zoned different, or they want to move it a little bit, but if it goes roughly off the middle of the road that goes west there, I forget what street that is, and if you brought it down the middle of that, which seems to roughly be where your guys' drawing was, it's just over 16 acres.
So, here's one thing to consider when it does come to purchasing property. We can have a closed session on that to have our discussions. That is one of the 5 reasons to have a closed meeting, which I think that would be a good idea to put on an agenda. Invite Mr. Pitcher and kind of lay some things out, get some numbers flowing.
I think basically as the process would be is it gets appraised by somebody that's approved by, I guess there's certain people that are approved to do this specific sort of thing, like the UDOT people do.
Yeah.
And it just comes down to that. It just, if the city wants to pull the trigger and go that route, that's,
So have you bought the property?
no, we're under contract to purchase the property, so this would be part of that. I don't know, does your mic turn mine off, or does it just turn off automatically?
You're still on, you're just talking quiet.
Okay,
That-
sorry. Are you the city attorney? Yeah, so he'll know better than I will.
Yeah.
I think it would be nice if we had a closed session, but in preparation for that, I'm fairly new as the city attorney, we could take a look at what the current zoning ordinances require for, without the overlay, because you just want to go with what's allowed by the ordinance, right?
I'm not sure I understand your question. So the property was zoned ag, and the city rezoned it to what the general plan shows. It's split zoning now, correct? So the south, roughly 60 acres, 65, is now zoned to the 18.5, and the northern matches the general plan now, which is the open space / park.
So the question is if you were to purchase this property and have the city agrees to purchase the park space, we'll just call it park.
The 16 acres or so, yeah.
Yeah. Is your plan then to build according to those lot standards?
Yes, that's exactly how that,
Absolutely.
yep. No overlay, yep.
Okay.
Just stick with the 18.5.
Okay. At this time, I can't provide any comment on what that additional time would be.
Yeah, so the process is what I meant. I'm sure you know it better than I do.
So is the same concern just east of that as well? If you're worried about having a buffer? 'Cause the
So it-
property east of that borders the treatment facility as well, right?
Yeah,
Or
so that
yeah.
buffer is all the way around the landfill.
The
and
landfill, right. But of course, and maybe I'm looking at it wrong, obviously. I'm kind of learning. It sounds like we all are a little bit here. So this here, that's where the treatment, sorry, nobody can see what we're talking about here. So I'm showing him the treatment facility property is here. This is the landfill. What about that piece?
So that's Marriott's.
Right.
So
but-
we don't have that opportunity yet.
No, I know, but is that what I'm saying? Is the
Yes,
same
it
issue
goes
gonna
all the
be?
way around, yep,
Okay.
yep.
That'll come up, is that Marriott's property? I think
Yeah.
that'll come up with Marriott's when they do their, whatever they do.
So the other option you were talking, what was the other option that you guys were talking about? Doing an overlay, which would, I guess we had talks in the past to you guys would install the park, and you're saying that won't work even with the overlay, right? Is that what I understood?
Well, and he's saying that the lots would be probably 8,000 square foot lots in order for him to get
Make
the
it pencil.
density that he would have, giving us those 16 acres, right?
Yeah, the code writes in a basically up to a 30% bonus. And, I mean, we're talking $1 million for the land, just the land. Before, we were actually talking about some amenities, which I don't know if there's give and take, but, I mean, so if we get a third on 80, that's 80-ish lots, and so we could do that, but for us, it's a break even. Does that make sense? Because we've given the city over $1 million.
That's what all developers say.
Yeah, but the lot
Come
density.
on.
Pardon me?
That's what all developers say, break even.
Well, it does, because we're talking the profit on the lots, not the
Right.
cost of improvement
Right.
and all that. If we're talking a $200,000 lot, but
And John,
understand.
is this what you said, you want that much land for a buffer?
Well, that's what's on the general plan. So when we did the general plan 7, 8 years ago, we took that as green space in order to keep that buffer around the sewer plant.
And that's what I was trying to say. If we go straight down the road, then it's roughly 16 acres, but you guys can reduce that.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I say, I think the first thing we need to do is decide where that line is.
Right.
How far away from the landfill we want that buffer. If it's 20 feet, 100 feet,
Right.
1,000 feet, whatever the council and planning commission come to a consensus on, right? Then that's what we need to look at.
So do we need a work meeting first to decide that? And then a closed meeting to possibly a closed meeting about purchasing?
Yeah, I think,
Yeah.
So no matter what, I
Good way to
think
go about
this needs to be a tabled.
Oh, yeah, 100% table. This was more of a, what do you
Because
guys want
this
me to do?
is listed as a discussion motion, so we'll have to table it.
Oh, yeah, I get that. Yeah. You guys will basically set where you want the line, whatever that may be. We'll go ahead and get a survey and find out exactly what the acreage is. Get an appraisal done by somebody that's approved, and that's basically it. Then you guys come up with the money.
So we don't know what the plan was besides a buffer, Mayor?
we don't know what.
We didn't know what the plan was whenever they put this in the general plan, whether it was for a park or just a buffer.
It
There
was a
wasn't-
buffer.
Okay,
So what we do after that is,
who knows? Okay.
Do we know how the original number came to be, about why we decided this number?
what number?
Like why we decided this much of a buffer?
I think we just created a buffer. I don't think the line's set. That's why I said, we can determine how far away we want the
Alright,
first
then.
backyard to be.
Let's table this and have a work meeting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
Right.
thank you.
Thank you.
So since we need a motion, I'll make a motion to table.
Well, I don't think there was a motion was there?
Well,
We
it
didn't need
says
to make a
on
mo-
on the agenda discussion motion. So I will officially make the motion to
To me, it
table
was a
this,
discussion, but yeah, I don't care. That's fine. That's what we need to do.
Yeah, that's fine.
just to be proper.
Second.
Yep.
So the motion is to table this. We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. We'll get a work meeting set up and be in touch. Thank you. All right, next is an ordinance to rezone the DeFreeze property. It is in compliance with the general plan. Any questions, concerns, discussion?
No, well, I don't. I looked at it. It is in compliance, so there's not much we can do.
How about a motion?
I'll motion to approve the ordinance 2025-10 for the DeFreeze rezoning property of the 1.6 acres from RE-20 to RE-15.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great, thanks. All right, next item. Dan, guess scratched his cornea. He would be here to
I know how
be
that.
here with us to kind of run us through this, but you can see by the engineer's notes, looks like there is a little bit of settling. And so they're gonna monitor that through this warranty period. and it will not get a final until that's been inspected and passed off, so.
What about the surface treatment?
Yep, so when we release a good chunk, all but 10% of the escrow, we will see that money. We will not final it without receiving that anyway. Yeah, yep. So, any discussion? How about a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the conditional final acceptance for the Palmer Heritage subdivision.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. All right, donation of the property from Still Creek.
We talked about this quite a bit.
Not that one.
Did anybody go and look at that piece and?
Plenty of times. I just still don't understand what we would do with it, but Dan's not here and I had questions for him.
But is he on? He on?
Yeah, he's on.
Hi, Dan. Oh, Daniel's iPad is on.
He's probably just not paying.
He's got it muted.
He's just sitting there with one eye closed.
I'm here. I just couldn't see coming in.
You went there.
Oh, you're even.
Well done. Well done. Good dad joke.
Hasn't he?
He's been waiting like 6 hours to
Yeah,
say that.
waiting for that one.
He thought of that at 7:30 this morning. So, here's one of my thoughts on
Okay.
this property. Obviously, you can see there's a home right next to it. My thought would be, one, we either let the HOA knock this out of their deal, we take it, and we develop it as a lot and sell it. Or we let the HOA do it. Otherwise, this is just gonna be a non-maintained pile of hooey.
Dan, did you have something that you thought could work there on that half acre?
With the North Plain City Road project, all three phases, we are definitely looking for areas to put some detention for stormwater runoff. And that does have an outfall there on the west corner of that property behind our location. And so that might be something that we could utilize if we was to obtain that property. When we come through with that project on North Plain City Road.
Right.
And that's in the next 2-3 years, right? By the time we get down that far?
There, I talked to Wasatch Civil yesterday on that. We're starting acquisition now, and they're anticipating that it would actually go out to bid next year because phase 1 and phase 2 monies are released already.
Did you get what you needed there before I start?
Go ahead.
So a couple of concerns, and I talked about a few of them when we talked about this a month ago. The precedents that it sets. We have a code that requires certain developments to require a certain amount of open space, and then we take it right back, take the property and resell it. Seems a little hokey to me. If they sell it, then what's the point of requiring the open space in the first place? So there's a break somewhere there that needs to be addressed. Not only on,
Can I give you some feedback on that idea?
yeah, please do.
So if we, because there's another phase to this subdivision.
Right.
So if we allow them to unload that property or sell it off or something, could we not make that next phase,
Green
take that
space.
open space and relocate it?
You mean the phases that never end?
Well, that's,
Yeah.
on this particular development, yeah, we have those issues, right?
Yeah.
But
It's just a thought, right? If we did that, just relocate that open space to somewhere else.
yeah, and
Just a thought.
if the open space is that important to us, right, I think we should, right? Otherwise, we are setting a precedent. Or are they really that important and we need to look at that?
Well, it would be HOA open space, it wouldn't be ours.
Okay.
Yeah, I would make sure it stayed under the HOA,
Couldn't they just
or you guys
stop
should.
maintaining another open space because they know we might bail them out again?
Well, yeah, that's the precedent you set, right? That's where you need to follow up with code enforcement to make them clean it up if that's what we choose to do. Because ultimately, it is their responsibility now because they own it, which is the issue. They're struggling with that everywhere, which is my concern about the open spaces in a lot of areas, but that's another conversation. But this could be the trigger that makes or breaks the whole thing throughout the city, in my opinion. It kind of already is. It's kind of been how long have we been on here, Jen? Year and a half? And we've heard about Steel Creek probably more than anything else. So I want to be careful how we do this so that we can get better moving into the future with future development. And this could be detrimental or it could be a positive thing moving forward. I don't know. But with that, I don't know what the answer is. I like that suggestion, but I don't know, to Rachel's point, does it just keep kicking the can down the road? Because at some point, we are going to have to say, this was the deal.
Yeah.
You're going to have to maintain it.
Well,
Right.
what, is this supposed to be open space? Is this part of their?
It's just open space.
Oh, but they
Yeah.
don't take care of it.
Can I chime in on this?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so, all right, so the phase 3 that Visionary has built, and they're supposed to be building phase 4,
Right.
they are not part of the HOA that owns that front part
Right.
of open space. They determined and sent us a letter from their lawyer back last year saying that they're not part of the Still Creek Master HOA. So the Still Creek,
Wait,
Master
time out. So
HOA.
they totally separated from the master HOA?
yep, they told us that we did not invite them to be part of ours, and so they separated and they're on their own. They're running their own HOA and calling it Still Creek as well. So phases 1 and 2 are under the original HOA that Hawkins set up, and
What
then
a
Axiom
joke.
came in and built phase 2. So I'm part of I'm the president of the original master HOA. But yeah, Visionary came to us and said, no, we're not part of yours. We don't have to pay into the master.
And they
We're
had all
doing
the
our
voting
own.
rights, didn't they?
What was, no,
Don't they have a
actually-
vote for every lot?
Yeah, so what happens when they come in is with each phase, the builder has 10 votes per lot and the owners only have 1 vote per lot. But the way that it is set up is phase 3 cannot come in until phases 1 and 2, what they're going to do. So they're over their phase 3 and they've got precedence over that, but they don't have precedence over the original HOA that was in.
So Visionary,
And
Everybody
Has
keeping up on
3?
this?
Yeah, I am.
so Visionary is over 3 and now 4?
yep,
Wow.
yep, they bought the stuff for 3. As far as I know, they've bought 4, or they're still on the hook for that one.
Is that possible?
I know when Mr. Marriott died, I know some of that was up in the air for a little bit,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure if they're still doing 4 or not.
So I knew that they were planning on creating another sub HOA under the master HOA, but I had no clue they were creating their own master.
Yep, they did their own master with phase 3, and they'll have phase 4 be part of that. They came in
Hey,
with all sorts
Mr.
of
Quinney.
interesting.
We now have a project for you, my friend.
We're
Get a
chatting
folder
with our
about
lawyer
this
real quick.
thick, and I expect you to have that memorized in 2 weeks.
Got it.
Sure.
If
I
you
hope you like
want,
energy drinks.
That's not
I can
legal,
send in the letter and stuff from
Okay, thank you.
Visionary's lawyer.
You wouldn't think so.
Okay, we're not gonna do anything on this
Yeah.
tonight.
Okay.
I'm asking the council anyway.
No.
And we're gonna put the city attorney on the
Case.
development agreement and see where, because that is complete asinine to totally separate from a master development.
I don't think you can do that.
Yeah. I mean, we might have to look at the state statute under PRUDs.
Well,
Yes,
there
it
was
was,
a couple
it was a
problems.
PRUD.
Yep.
If you're gonna talk, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was all done 20 years ago now.
This was a long time ago, so there should be a PRUD agreement on there, and
Right.
that's a violation of that agreement.
It is.
As far as,
Well,
I am-
let's,
yes.
we'll have Mr. Quinney decide whether it's
Yeah,
legal.
I mean, I'm speaking as
But it
a
sounds
planning commission.
incredibly wrong.
We
does.
have a new attorney, and
So-
we're gonna get him on the case, start looking through all of this, and we'll get back to you on this.
Okay, that's all I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Jared. I thought the
Because
same thing.
everyone up here is shaking their heads saying, uh-uh.
Yeah, that just doesn't sound right whatsoever.
Do you
Thanks
want to
for
have
that
him reach out to
information.
me through Diane, and I can send you all the stuff we've gotten from Visionary with their lawyer and everything else?
Please send it.
Yes, please send everything you've got from their attorney and anything else you've got.
I
Okay.
know Mayor Beasley was joking about the binder, but really, the more information, the better.
No, it's a binder.
He's not joking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's a binder.
It's not the binder.
It's
I'm
like-
not kidding, it's a binder.
12-pack of Red Bull for you, buddy.
So,
More information, the better.
yeah,
I think it's got too big for the
If
binder.
anything, he wasn't trying to overwhelm you, so.
it's a 8 by 11 by 18-inch box. So, all right, I'll let the council table this if they would, and then we will dig in. So,
I'm gonna table the donation of the property from the Still Creek HOA.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you for the information, and,
Wow.
yeah, wow. A second.
Yep.
All right, let's see. So we did get an email from the
Ms.
gentleman that wanted to have the fees waived. I talked to a couple of his players' parents called me and just says, hey, what is the field price? So we looked it up, and it's not near as much as so the parents are just gonna cover that. So we'll just scratch that off the agenda tonight. So update on the grant from WFRC for the general plan update. Who's got this one?
Is that GenCom?
Apparently me.
That is you.
We're looking at Diane.
Yeah.
As you well know, we got the grant for $120,000 to update our general plan and our codes. Wasatch Front got a hold of me and said that if we can keep the grant under $100,000, we can pick whoever we want to
Doesn't have to go
help
out to
us with
bid.
it. It doesn't have to go out through an RFP. So my question to you is, do we want to go that way? I talked with the group that we were gonna hopefully use anyway, and he thinks that he can do that within that
$100,000.
$99,999.
I see a face.
Wow.
Anyway, I just need to know which direction you wanna go, because we can't go anywhere until we decide.
You're gonna be using them for the general plan, so do you have something you want me to say?
Have we worked with this company?
Yes, so
So
these
they
are,
know what we're
this
doing.
is our planning consultant firm that
Oh,
that we like.
Okay.
Right? Like, they have done a great job of working with the city in the direction we want to work, right? They're not,
Not,
oh,
Okay.
there he is. So,
not directing us in a direction
Yes.
they want to go.
yeah.
Well,
I think in our last general plan, there was a lot of getting pushed in their direction
No.
and not so much of the city's ideals.
Our vision.
Yeah, and so, working with this firm has been phenomenal. Every time we've talked with them and used them, they've given us great advice, great directive, and so that's why we'd like to be able to use them for the $99,999.99.
Well, and it'll mean that we can go start sooner.
2
Yeah.
months. Isn't it like 2 months to
Yeah,
send out
because
an
we
RFP and then,
have to go through that
Right.
RFP
Yeah,
process.
right,
And it'll save them time, because they
they
don't,
don't have to do it.
yeah.
in the hopes that they'll get it.
So it's a grant, do we just turn back the $20,000 we're not using?
Yeah.
And they're okay with that? Oh, sounds like you guys have done your homework.
Yeah, I guess the only question I have is how does it align with our purchasing policy? Because I kind of looked at that and I don't know how that would work with the grant funding, because technically would that be treated as our money at this point? I guess you look at that probably several different ways depending on who's looking at it, but I just want to make sure we're following ours, and if we have to go out for an RFP, I'm going to cover our bases there, but makes sense. Hanson Group has been good. I agree with everything everybody said. I've worked with some on a few committees here, so that part's no problem. I just don't want it to look like we're circumventing, or, yeah, you say shady, circumventing any of the policies.
Wasatch Front was the one that told us.
But that's their purchasing policy, not ours, right?
Well, I think it falls under the state's purchasing policy.
It does.
Well, yeah, but we still have ours that we need to make sure we follow. But
I'm just reading the general provisions for now, and just something to guide the council's decision is to just make sure that we're ensuring fair and equitable treatment of all persons who wish to conduct business with Plain City.
Right.
I know the city has, a favorite and has had a history with, the firm that you work with now, but at the same time, you want to protect the tax dollar by ensuring that others who might provide a better deal, more quality services, have a chance to at least conduct business with the city. So that actually leans more in favor of an RFP, and I realize that it takes time and effort to do it, but that helps to ensure you get the best deal possible. So that kind of more is in line with the general provisions of your policy than maybe the easy way in picking somebody who you usually go with. But where this is such a close line, where the $100,000 is the mark, it's kind of a judgment call by the council. If we're talking $300,000, we don't want to fudge the number down to 100 or less.
Yeah.
Get what you want.
We'd short
The grant, which is so
ourselves.
close, you can use your judgment. Just keep in mind those policies.
Okay. Any more discussion?
Yeah, is there a
Okay.
deadline when this needs to be done
Sooner the better.
for this part?
Anything.
Well, I guess for the grant.
Grant. Yeah, sometimes the grants run out.
Didn't we not have to really go bid out the security cameras because we
So proprietary.
proprietor?
yeah, which this isn't. There's a lot of companies that do this. That's just, I'm with you. You verbatim off the code.
The purchasing code is not designed, or it's not the intent to be a hindrance. It's actually the intent to provide the most value for the city. And so you can consider that versus convenience and decide today which one's more valuable or which is in the best interest of the city. I won't make that opinion, obviously. Just the guidelines for you. That's your decision.
I would like to go with an RFP, just so it doesn't look bad, but that's my opinion.
I'd rather keep it on the up and up. I'd rather keep it on the up and up.
Okay.
I mean, I have a preference, but I'd rather go through the steps.
I'm torn because I know what you're going through working at the county, and I know what looks the best for the city.
The only thing is any other bidder going to get 9?
Probably not, and then you've wasted 2 months doing it.
Well, you haven't wasted. You went through the process to make sure it was,
Either way, there was a process. If we're under, we didn't need to RFP it. But if it's gonna be over.
yeah, but again, that 100,000 is Wasatch Front Regional Council,
Right.
right? Not necessarily the city's purchasing policy. It's two separate things. But
But do they have a stipulation on how that money is spent? The grant? Does the grant dictate how you spend that?
Yes.
Yeah.
So does it say you have to put out an RFP?
Not if it's under 100,000.
on theirs, yeah.
Is there a time frame on the general plan update?
No.
Is there a reason?
Multiple
Year and a half, 2
So,
years?
so 2 more months isn't gonna be a big deal.
No.
No, you're good.
The last time redid the general plan was 2018, right? And I believe it's just a recommendation to do it every 5 years. Am I not mistaken on that?
5 to 7.
5 to 7. So we're
So we're in that 5,
yeah, we're right there on the cusp of the high end of
We
it.
did the survey 2 years ago.
We did do a survey 2 years ago, you know, as a commission, and just to
Right.
just see what we might want to do another survey, because I wonder how much it has changed since.
We've had so many new people move
Well, there's
in.
other factors too, you know, there's socioeconomic and political and, you know, just, you know, things that are going on right now that might have changed some of that outlook. As, you know, last year we did a housing study too. So, you know, that's good information that we can take and put into our general plan as well. So, my only concern is I don't know if $100,000 is enough to do a thorough general plan update. And I'm not an expert on
What
that.
was that, the phase, like 100?
Yeah, that was right. I just wanted to make sure we were, you know,
What
getting,
did we spend last time, 80?
was it just
I
80?
think 80 sticks out in my
Okay.
head.
But
Well, and that was 2018, so.
Right.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah,
we know things are a little bit more expensive.
it's just a tad,
The reverse is that is gonna be true, too.
exactly.
That it could come in at 200,000 and then, you know,
Exactly. And you just can't, there's so many factors. You know, to understand the general plan, I mean, there are multiple meetings with the public.
Right.
You're doing design charrettes, which I love. I mean, that's kind of what I dig about my job, but, you know, and that's with buildings, but I like doing it on this scale as well. So, you know, there is a lot that goes into it, so. My only question, and I think we want to look into this, and maybe I'm jumping ahead, is we as a commission were talking about who we can allow as to participate in that general plan, if it's just citizens, if we can allow it, or do we need to allow developers? Because the last time, there were lots of outside developers that I felt kind of influenced how our general plan was written and left a bad taste personally in my mouth. And
Yeah.
I don't know if we can restrict that. It'd be good to look into that and see what extents we can do, so.
I
That-
think that's a
that to
very
me is-
And I'm not,
look into.
No,
That's a conversation for when we get, I'd like to make a motion to go out with an RFP for the services of the general plan update with the funding from Wasatch Front Regional Council.
I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm gonna say aye.
thanks, guys.
All right.
And
It passes. Thank you, everybody. Approval of boundary microphones. So these are little microphones that are mobile. For us to, we can use them in here, or if we have a meeting back there, or if somebody else just has meetings, right, that they have all the time.
problems with is the microphones are here and here, but if you have a
Yeah.
meeting,
Oh,
tables
tables.
here, nobody can hear, the recording doesn't pick it up. And so these would sit there so that everything is picked up. We would use it at technical review, we would use it at court, we would use it at a work meeting if we have one.
Yeah.
That's why.
So you've seen this quote. One, do we have the budget to cover it? Because I think it's something we need. Because that one meeting was hard. We had to move the microphone around and,
Yes, we can find the money in the budget for that.
We got a fresh budget.
That's
I know. So I was thinking, we're, July,
We
spend
got
money.
we got a fresh one.
Company that's doing,
Well, and that's just it, we can't really mix and
yeah.
match.
No.
Kinda gotta stick with them at this point.
All right, any other discussion, questions?
And it's, and it's four? And it's 4 microphones?
4 mics. The charger only comes in an 8-pack,
Okay.
so we can get more if we want more, if we need more, if we see a use.
All right.
How about a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the boundary microphones by GenCom.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great, thank you. All right, business licenses. We got Duncan Ventures, Dedicated Docks, Wayment Customs, and Utah Shed Company. Then we have a home occupation for Nicole Jensen Design.
I'll make a motion to approve the business licenses.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And then let's pay the bills.
Sorry, there's a lot of them.
No, I'm
Yeah.
trying to put them in order. What does track mean? Do we have a track? It says for shirts, for track.
Track Club?
Rec track?
Yep.
I know, I'm like, I didn't get a shirt with track
We do
on it.
bear tracks, deer tracks, and raccoon.
That's kind of why I was like, what does this mean? Come on, people.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
I didn't get a medal either.
I think
We
my
got
first-
track medals. I want to know about that. You got to do what? You know,
No, there's no ditch no more. It's filled in. Yeah. The ditch was filled in 10 years ago, probably.
I was like, oh, so bad.
Oh, yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. And the water was colder. Kept the fish alive longer. Oh, no, we put grates over the ends. Yeah. Luigi, did you ever do the fish chase in the ditch?
Hmm?
I don't remember what year that went away.
I remember being across the street to the west.
In front of Casey's?
Yep.
Yep. The old fish scramble in the ditch.
Oh, yeah. Hello.
Someone posted
I'd go to
pictures.
Willard Bay and get the carp.
Someone were posting videos on Facebook of the old fish scramble in the ditch, and kids were coming up covered in mud. I was like,
Oh, yeah.
my God, that looks
Oh, yeah.
fun.
Whoever was running it would try to
hole
get the
was
ditch
in-
drained so they could get all the broken glass out of the bottom before we went in there barefoot. Sometimes we got cut, sometimes we didn't.
Most of the time we did. And the rest of the time, we used to take where the fish were on the square and ride our bikes. That was our big jump. Because the older kids got to be in the ditch.
Yeah, the old kids were in the
We
ditch.
got
and-
the stupid muddy pond.
Yeah,
It was fun.
yeah. All right, how about a motion?
Any discussion first? You good? I will make a motion to pay the bills for June 18th through July 16th, 2025.
Second.
Roll call.
Yes.
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 Great, thank you. All right, I'm going to start off on reports. First off, thank you to everyone that works for Plain City, that dedicated so much of their time over the 4th of July to our festivities. I know we require it, but thank you, thank you, thank you. Everything was amazing, the concert. I don't know how many people it takes to fill this park up, but it was packed. It was packed almost to the fence. And the concert was absolutely amazing, and we made Diane's life. Which that matters more to me than just about anything.
Me too.
She's still giddy. So, but anyway, we had a phenomenal celebration. Like we've said, next year is the 250th. So whoever's sitting in this seat next year, I hope they make it a wing dinger of a celebration and go big, and let's really, celebrate our independence as a nation and our freedom as residents here. So thanks to everybody. It was phenomenal. I usually get a couple people that come up and complain to me, but I haven't even heard one.
I had two, and they were from Colorado.
Oh, yeah, okay. We don't need to bring those people up.
They can stay.
Yeah.
Are they
Yeah.
moving here?
No, they hate it here.
Did they come here for the concert?
They came from Colorado for the concert.
They were a pain for us the whole night.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But
Even,
outside of them, we had a phenomenal celebration. And just to get everybody up to speed, I just had a phone call this week so me and Quinny will be talking. Through the process of land acquisition on North Plain City Road, we had to take a complete house. There are renters in that house, and so the lady that's doing our land acquisition, she called me, and we set up a meeting real quick this last week. I met the young man that's renting it, him and his wife. He's a great guy. He's taking good care of the place right now, and I would hate to see when the city signs on this land acquisition, and it's a complete take of the property, that we just say, see you later, kick them out and board the house up. It could be a year before we demolish the house, right? And so I'd like to keep them in there. The money from the rent will not go to the city, though. It will go to the county, where it was county money that did the land act. And so it would be something that, Diane doesn't know this yet, we'd have to just track it in a separate deal so that we send that money directly to the county.
were they paying it here and then?
Yes, they would pay it here, and then we'd have to pay the county. But this is down the road just a little bit, but I just wanted to give you guys a head up that me and the lady that are doing the land act, we did meet with this guy, phenomenal young man, and we'll set a rent rate equivalent to what it is currently. The contract will be reviewed by Brandon, and we'll.
She sent the documents.
Okay.
I forwarded it to him.
Okay. Was the contract in there? I hadn't seen that yet.
It was, and I've
Okay.
started looking at it. I've got comments already, so when you're ready to talk
Okay,
about it.
yeah, let's have a phone call this week and go through that, but I hate to see a house that somebody's currently living in, and we just give him 30-day notice to say, get out, when,
You never know when it's gonna
it's something they're comfortable in right now and whatever, but we'll make sure that the contract states that, there will be no, what do they call it, squatting at the end. He's definitely not that type of person whatsoever. He's an electrician, in his third year of apprenticeship, working on his journeyman, so just a great young couple, and I'd hate to see him having to go to mom's basement or something, when that house ain't gonna be down for a while. So anyway, that's coming down the pipe, but what else did I have? Anything? Did you tell me to tell him anything? Okay, perfect. Then I must be up to snuff. Councilman Favero.
Yeah, just to echo the mayor's comments about the 4th, I know nobody's here that was a part of that besides us, right, and Diane and Dan online, but there was a lot of people helping out that day. I paid a little closer attention this year to that, just because, and they put on a really good celebration, so thank you for all you do. Yeah.
Thank you.
I do have one more, maybe it's a question for Dan. How's the 3600 project coming along?
The road?
Duly noted.
That is, they're still having to go out to bid this year, and to get a contractor on board, and then, but with weather and going into winter, then they anticipate next spring breaking ground.
Right, we talked about all that, so
So
we're still on
on
schedule.
time schedule to start construction next spring, right?
Still on schedule. We've had, the last 3 meetings have been canceled because they've gotten everything, pretty much, taken care of with, property acquisitions and stuff like that. I know that I had a honeydew list. I had to have Twin D, camera the irrigation line that goes under 36 today. And, just to see what kind of condition it is, to see if we're gonna leave it or if it would be in our best interest to, replace. So, but, and like I said, I gotta get the video from Twin D on Monday, and then, we'll look at that and see what we gotta do with it. But, yeah, we're just finalizing it.
Thanks.
Yep.
Good? Yep. Okay, Councilman Panunzio.
Nothing to report, just 4th of July was awesome. I got to attend some of the stuff this year.
Good. That's a first, isn't it?
Yep.
Good. Glad you were able to show up for a little bit.
I'll always miss the parade, so hopefully it was good.
It was,
My
the
kids
parade was
enjoyed it, my
phenomenal.
family enjoyed it, so.
The parade was phenomenal, and the amount of people that were there was insane.
Oh, the chicken chase, I think, I've never seen it. And I was blown away how many kids there were over there. I don't know if it's like that
Crazy.
every year,
Yeah,
but
it is. It's crazy.
we ended up with 2, so.
I was gonna say, if you end up with a few, maybe you didn't like it quite so much, that's where we're at.
Yeah. Kind of funny you bring that up. There was people walking around all night
With the
at the
chicken.
concert with their chicken. So, yeah, it was a hit, as usual.
It was awesome, so thanks for everyone who helped make that awesome.
Yeah, and I didn't even think the volunteers, holy cow.
Yep.
I mean, a family raises those chickens from like March.
Oh, really?
They order them and they raise them for us, and we pay for the feed and whatnot, but
Well, we were standing in line, and when they were pulling them out, there was a couple people like, "Oh my gosh, you're gonna hurt them." No, they're fine.
they're good.
All right.
They're good.
Just wait till you see what
I was
happens.
gonna say,
Yeah,
Back when they used to do the grease pig chase,
that was fun.
pigs got a little hot.
Yep.
Yeah, so I was over that for a few years. And yeah, I had to get them in a water bath real quick. They were overheating. Pigs can't overheat. So anyway, all right, Councilwoman Bill.
They're just saying that, and they posted one rooster on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
This one survived. It was the one that didn't get caught.
that was the meanest of the bunch then.
Jump up and spurt them.
It just reminds me of the Minecraft movie, Chicken Jockey. So, but no. So Western Weber CTC, they have a meeting tomorrow, and they want to know how they can support us as a city. If they want more parent dinners where they can come and teach the parents, meetings down in the senior center, more presence at our events like the 4th of July, our Halloween party, Christmas, whatever. I have a meeting with them tomorrow, just me and.
Did they have a booth at the 4th of July?
They said so. So I don't know,
I didn't even get to see all the booths.
I had a nephew come back from their mission and another one that's going on a mission, so I was in
Okay.
Syracuse. Theirs is nowhere near as awesome as ours.
Never has been.
I was rather disappointed, to be honest. So, I mean, they didn't even have a chicken chase.
Nope,
or-
we got all the good
Or a
stuff.
fish scramble, or a toilet bowl, cornhole. I mean,
Horseshoes.
well,
Yeah.
it's sad. Ours is always going to be the best, and I know next year for the 250th, it's going to be awesome. So come visit. But they do want to know how they can support us. So if you have any ideas, let me know. I'm going to be gone August 7th, so I'm going to say now, school starting, watch out for the kids walking, school buses, sign out, stop. We don't want to have any kids getting hit. And also want to make sure that the lawyer, if they can, Brandon, help with the policy change on themes being reviewed.
Anytime.
And also, we have the best 4th of July celebrations ever.
Sounds
I
like
was
it.
not here. I apologize. but after working my job for 25 years and I never had a summer, my husband has booked something every year over the 4th of July for the next 3 years. So we're trying to move it, but I heard it was great. We looked at all of the pictures that people were sending us. It looked very busy,
It was
very
busy.
packed.
The
So
park was absolutely crowded.
congratulations to everyone. It was a huge success. Other than that, I don't have anything. Thanks. It's great.
Okay. The Blossom Angus games were phenomenal. The Blossom Angus games, they were a ton of fun. No injuries on the junior or seniors games this year. That was great. We usually get a pulled hammy or something out there. So it was good to see everybody be able to walk to their vehicles and actually drive home on their own. But, like, I don't know if you guys know or not, but Lane Thompson, who, his dad started the Blossom Angus tournament in '81, I believe, was the first year. He comes out from Chicago. He lives in Chicago, and he organizes this whole thing, puts it all together. Him and I start talking. It's usually February. He'll send me a text about getting my teams together and whatnot. And so, huge thanks to him for keeping this tradition. And Jared and I, Jan, you probably as well, but we're up at that park watching these games.
Oh my gosh.
It was gospel to us.
It was awesome.
Yeah, and so anyway, I'm grateful for Lane for bringing that back up and getting that going for us so that we've got some kind of softball back in Plain City, because it was huge back in the day. We loved it there. So anyway, Diane, did you have something?
Do you want to bring Colin Ray back? Is that what you were saying? Oh, okay. I just thought that maybe that was what this was. Oh, okay. For her family reunion.
She's got a private concert
For her-
set up.
yeah.
Thanks for letting him come, though. We are having a Meet the Candidates night next Tuesday. It's just an informal thing. We're having it down at the senior center. It's just an open house fashion, so you can come in, talk to whoever you want, and then go. So,
Oh, good.
5:30 to 7:30. So, the primary election is
12th.
August 12th.
Are you is Ricky doing the ballots mail out or?
Yeah, the ballots actually should be going out in the mail this next week. So that's why we're having the Meet the Candidates night as soon as we can. But we've never done this kind of a fashion. So when it gets closer for the general election, we'll have a formal one up here. But
When we narrow it down to
yeah,
the right amount of candidates for the general.
I'll come up with my best questions for you guys. Paybacks.
I didn't ask you anything.
Oh, okay, I'll stay home then.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody? How about the last motion of the night?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Nay.
Oh, I want to go home.
I asked Crystal, I says, so, are you seeing any more? She goes, nope.